Yo, what's going on, you guys? It's Son Yonatan back again with another post. And I don't know what exactly brought me up to this tree, but I thought it would be a good time or a good setting for me to tell you about my first real DMT breakthrough experience. So I hope that there's not too many background noises, and I hope that the audio is pretty clear for you guys. I got my little microphone, so just stay with me. This story is going to be fun, and I'm going to try to make it as entertaining as possible. So, DMT. My first time breaking through. So DMT, I've been wanting to do this thing since I ever heard about ayahuasca. You guys have seen my shrooms video if you've been on my channel before. If you haven't, click the link in one of these descriptions or pop-ups that you see in the video. But that was one of my first experiences, and my shroom experience changed my life. It really allowed me to see things in a completely different way that I've ever seen it before. A lot of the things that I was holding on to in my childhood and things that I didn't even realize that I was still thinking about, shrooms helped me to realize that I needed to just let that shit go. And so I started going down the rabbit hole, just like the Matrix. It's like I took the red pill, like Neo, and from that point on I was just looking and searching and just taking all different types of things. Because if you guys don't know, I was raised as a Jehovah's Witness. I was raised in a religion where I was taught to think a certain way and just do certain things. To this day, I still don't celebrate my birthday. I don't celebrate any holidays. And I'm just kind of like a neutral person when it comes to a lot of things. When it came to psychedelics, that was something that I knew that could possibly help me to expand my awareness and expand the way that I thought about different things. So, the one time that I actually took DMT, the first time I actually took it and I didn't break through. I'm going to lead you up to the story where I actually break through. I went to my friend's house and I asked him about it. He knew that I was coming over there for that. So he already had got it from the guy and he had it at his house. And I remember that he packed the bowl and he sandwiched like weed, DMT, weed. And so he would like light the bowl and he would just go ahead and breathe. So I went ahead and started to breathe. And I had no idea what to expect. But that first hit, if you guys have ever taken acid or if you ever taken shrooms, it's like that first hit gets you to like, I'm tripping. Like I'm taking shrooms at this moment type of thing. I took another hit and I started seeing these fractals. I started seeing reality start pretty much disintegrating. It started making these little itty bitty pixels. It was like I was seeing reality in pixels. Like everything was in 1080p. And then it went to 480p, right? And I remember there was a cat inside the room. And this cat, I was sitting on the couch. And so the cat came onto the couch and it came behind me. And it felt like the cat was going to stick to the back of my head. Basically, it felt like all the cells in my body were doing like this. And everything that I was connected to or like I was sitting on, it felt like I had no body. It felt like everything that was around me was becoming one. Like everything was becoming one thing. And I was like, wow, like, okay, I know I'm feeling it. And in that moment, during me starting to feel, whatever type of high or DMT feeling I was feeling, I closed my eyes. And once I closed my eyes, there was this entity. It was a female entity. It was like a lady. And she wasn't speaking English, but I understood what she was saying. And she was just basically like, you came here to ask questions. And I was like, I did? And she's like, yeah, you came here to ask questions. And she was just like, we are known as blank. But the blank was just like all the gods of what we call God on the earth. So it's like Athena, Zeus, Jesus, Buddha, Allah. Any god's name that you can think of, we're like, we are known as blank. And it was just like, we have always been with you and we will always be with you. And that was my first, like, one of my first experiences. And when I remember like right after that, I'm telling you, all of this sounds like some alien language. It's not like she's speaking to me in a regular voice. She's like, and I remember after that, my friend, he was ready to give me another hit so I can actually break through. But I could tell at that time I wasn't ready. Like, I just got off of work. I didn't even think I even took a shower. Like, I wasn't taking it like serious, like how I think y'all need to take it serious. Like, it's not just to be played with. But that day I knew I wasn't ready, so I'm like, nah, bro, I'm good. But we smoked a blunt after that, and I felt pretty good. Now, okay, now let's get to the point where the time I actually broke through. So I had another friend, and we were cool with this guy that was always doing DMT. Like, he was always had a vape, and he was always getting high on DMT, like, a lot. Even to me now, looking back on it, that's like, damn, bro, that's pretty excessive. But anyways, he was the guy who had it. And I remember we became cool. You know, we would go to his house on the weekends, and we would go to like his grandma's basement, and pretty much he had like a projector set up, and we would just always go in there and smoke, or like, you know, just talk shit and just chill. And on this occasion, it was just like one random day. At this day, I was working at Chick-fil-A, and remember, I got a text from him, and he's like, "Hey, bro, so you're trying to take DMT today?" And I was like, "I'm ready." Like, yes, I'm ready. Yes. Like, I felt it in me, like, this is the moment. Like, and I want to tell you guys, like, the way that DMT feels, when you take that last hit where you feel like you're going to break through, to me, it feels like you have to make a decision. Like, it's like make a decision of, it's almost like killing yourself. It's almost like killing your whole image and idea of who you thought you were. And you're going to say goodbye to everything that you thought that you knew about anything. That's at least what it feels like. So he texted me that day. He's like, "You trying to take DMT?" And I'm like, yes. So the whole day I was praying, I was meditating, I was getting all the things out that was within me. Because what psychedelics do, they bring things that are down in your subconscious up. So if you have things that you haven't dealt with, you know, if you're going through a relationship problem, you just had a fight with your best friend, or like, I don't know, like you need to do your taxes or something, maybe you should wait till after you do all those things, so that when you do DMT or any type of psychedelic, you won't have your whole reality thinking about that certain thing. I was meditating, I was praying, I was doing all the things I needed to do to go ahead and get right before I went ahead and went on this trip. I came home, I took a shower. Again, I was praying, I was, you know, saying mantras and meditation, like, I am peace, I am love, you know, God protects me, God is with me, God is the only thing, you know, shit like that. And then later on, I came to his house at like maybe 7, and he was already sitting outside in his backyard by the fire pit. And I came in, and we watched some Terrence McKenna. And some Joe Rogan, and that's what we used to do, just like sober. But this time I knew that this is the time that I was about to actually break through to the other side. And so we were just watching Terrence McKenna, we were watching Joe Rogan, and I remember he put on Mac Miller. I think it was Self-Care, or it was a Mac Miller song, and it was beautiful though. I was just like, damn, this is a good like song to get into the mood, right? I remember he was about to get ready to pack up the bong, because he had a bong that had a vaporizer at the end. It was like a little bubble thing. You put the DMT inside there, and you light it with a torch, and you heat it up, and it vaporizes. So we were getting ready. He put on the Mac Miller music, but I remember one of the things that I was uncomfortable about. He had a gun on this table. I was like, "Hey man, can you put that gun away?" Just because I know how psychedelics are, and I knew that if I had took that, I probably would have thought that like something bad would have happened with the gun just out in the table. He's like, "Oh yeah, of course." So he put the gun away, and yeah. After that, he got me a blanket. He put me on the couch. I was comfortable, and then he was just like, "All right, man, you ready?" And I was like, "Yep." And so he started packing up the DMT. Started letting it up with the torch. He gave me the first hit. I said, I held it in like 10 seconds. Then I let it out. Gave me another one. I in it in. Let it out. Third one. Let it in. Let it out. And see, people usually say about 3 hits. That's like when you break through on DMT. And same thing like the first time. First hit, I'm tripping. Second hit, oh my gosh, I'm tripping even more. Things are starting to break down. Third hit, oh yeah, I'm starting to get there. And he gave me one more hit because he was like, I don't think that was enough. So he gave me 4 hits total. So he gave me 4 hits, and he was like, all right, man. And at this point, everything was starting to like jitter, everything was starting to move faster, and it felt like, oh man, something's about to happen. I don't know what, but something's about to happen. So after that last hit, he was like, all right, peace. Tell them I said hi. And he was pretty much talking about the entities and things that you see on the other side. But I was like, tell them you said hi, okay. And then, man, it was like, my mind was like, it was like if I saw a film strip of my whole life, like a tape, like how film is. It was like my whole life was on that tape strip, and it was going down and down and down. And it was like I could see that whole thing. And it was like in the distance inside his grandma's basement, I seen like, people call them machine elves, but it was like some type of entity. And it was as if they had like a broom and they were just brushing my whole life away. They were like dancing and washing my life away. They're like dun 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 dun. And then I just closed my eyes and I crossed my arms. And then it was like, I remember we just had listened to Terrence McKenna, but he was like, basically, death by astonishment. I was just like, oh, like, this is it. This is it. Like, oh my gosh, like, I can't go back. And it was like, my mother, I heard the sound of my mother's voice. She's still alive and everything, but it was like, I heard the sound of my mother's voice, and it was like, now Jonathan, you don't need to be out here doing drugs at 11 o'clock at night, driving your car, smoking weed, driving your car, not wearing a seatbelt, just being out late at night, not telling anybody where you're going. It was like all the humanness and all the like things that made me. It was like in a split second. It was like my mom. It was a comforting voice, but it was just like, now you know better type of thing. And in that moment, I had to let go. I let go. I said, I was closing my eyes and I let go. I let go of who Jonathan was or who I thought I was or anything like that. And in that moment, it was like I blasted away from my body, millions of miles away. It was like I was moving through the universe, like away from my body, away from time. Like everything was moving in a different time scale. So it was like time didn't really matter. But I was blasting away. And every time I felt like I was blasting away, it felt like an entity was jumping into my heart. Like every time I was like, ugh. It was like, ugh. Every time I was like, ugh. It was like, ugh. This is all happening inside like my mind or like with my eyes closed. I already know what's going on outside of me at this point because I just have my arms like this. But my spirit or whatever it felt like it went away. And there is an entity. There's an entity with me, and it's like jumping in and out of me. And each time I'm going away, millions of miles away, blasting from my body, it's like, look at this, and look at this, and look at that, and look at this. And each time it was saying that, it was like showing me like a new universe, like a new world, like something beautiful, something that amazing that I'm supposed to just understand and know. And it took me on this journey into a point where like it felt like I wasn't even a me anymore. Like I was just, you know how when you change the TV, if you're old enough, I don't know how about y'all new kids, I don't know if y'all watch TV like that, but on the older TVs, when you would switch the channel, there would be a static TV. Actually, it felt like when you turn off the TV, how it goes like choo, choo. But it was like I was at this static part where I was just floating. I was just observing. It was like almost like a dream when you're in a dream state. But I was just floating and observing, and I was seeing the reality and the makeup of reality. And it was so crazy because it felt like the things I was seeing was so ancient and so familiar. It was like I was seeing the real reality, and it was like, oh, so this is what all this shit is made of. Like if I was to look at a cup with water in it, it's like that cup was like a machine that allowed the water to even be inside of it, if that ever makes sense. But it's not gonna make sense exactly how I'm like trying to describe it, but that's what it seemed like. And then I remember there was a point where it was like this elephant. It was like this big purple crystalline geometric elephant flying through space, and all in the elephant's trunk there was a little saucer, and on top of the saucer there was a little man, and the little man was holding a little saucer, and on top of the little man's saucer it was like a diamond, or like a, it was like, I don't want to call it the have you ever seen Assassin's Creed? There is a thing in the game, it's called the Apple of Eden. It seemed like it was the Apple of Eden, because in the Assassin's Creed game it's this apple that you can use to control the masses. It's pretty much a godly tool that, you know, allows humans to do things that they wouldn't normally be able to do. But in that state, it felt like on top of the elephant there's a little saucer, on top of the saucer there's a little man, and the little man was holding a little gift, a little thing, and it felt like he was trying to give it to me. And it felt like if I could take that thing and bring it down back here into this plane of reality, then I'd pretty much be like Jesus, or like Neo in the Matrix, or pretty much I'd be able to break reality because of the knowledge that that thing contained. And I didn't get to take it or anything, but it was just like I could see that that's the gesture, that's what it was trying to do. And it's like I said, I was going through the different realities. I seen the little elephant thing. The next thing that I remember is it felt like I was seeing like this big spiny creature with like a flower, like a big stem of a flower, and then like this big flower at the top with like eyes. Again, eyes are a big factor. It feels like something that like is looking at you. Like there's always something that's aware, observing all the time. And it was like that big flower thing, and it felt like positive and negative, masculine and feminine. Like I said, it felt like TV going off and turning on. It's like I was exploding and imploding. I was doing like this and that. I was like going up and down, left and right. It was like all the opposites were like I was in between them. But it was like when that happened, it felt like I was reset. It felt like all the cells in my body, it was like now I'm back to my body. Now I'm coming back to Jonathan. But it's like I was being reborn. I was being reborn as like a new person. And I was able to realize like, damn, this shit is ancient. This shit has been here forever. That's when I started coming back to, and I started having thoughts in my mind, and I started having just like flashes of little words. And you guys, I love to rap. I love to freestyle. And so I started freestyling, and I was just going, I was like dun 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 whatever dun 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 dun. And it was like I could keep on going freestyling forever. And something that humbled me is because I realized that God is infinite. Like this shit goes on forever. Like anything that I think that I can do, it was like anything I was like da 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 da. It was like da 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 da. Like it was never gonna stop. Like it was out freestyling me forever. But it's weird because it was within me, right? Like I'm observing this, so you would think that it is me. But it was just like, you have no idea like how deep this shit goes. And then that's when when I came back to, the first words I said, I was just like, be one with God. Be one with God. Hey, be one with God. Be one with God. Hey, be one with God. Be one with God. Hey, be one with God. Be one with God. Hey, God is all. God is all. Be one with God. 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 God is all. That moment I started coming to, that's when I was able to open up my eyes, and I was just sitting there, and I swear to you guys, if you ever take DMT and you actually break through, sometimes it just makes me just turn my head and I just look off into the distance. I'm just like, damn, that's just crazy. Like, I could never explain it exactly. Like, it's something that I've never imagined, something that was more than I could ever contain. And it felt like I had a cheat code. Like it literally felt like I knew something that a lot of people didn't know. And like after that, it kind of messed me up. I'm not gonna lie, because I'm grateful that I had that breakthrough. But at the same time, it's like I started smoking hella weed. Like if I smoked, a blunt a day, I started buying pounds, like, or like, ounces, and I would like smoke like a lot. And then I started doing cocaine, y'all. I'm just gonna be straight up. Like I started doing other type of drugs, and it's because I felt like I was too high. I had to lower myself back down. It was like I was so above it all. It's like none of this shit even matters. Like y'all don't even know the fucking real reality. Like this is nothing compared to what I seen. Even like a sunset, something beautiful on Earth. It was like, nah, what I had just seen in that world, it is nothing compared to it. Like this is nothing compared to that. But I had to ground myself, you guys. Something that I learned from that experience is that you can't be so. My mentor Matthew David Hurtado. If you don't know who Matthew David Hurtado, go check him out. But he always says this thing like, you can't be so like spiritually bound or so heavenly bound that you're no earthly good. You can't be just like, oh, the universe and God is the all, and what's the point of being a human? Like, what's the point of living life and going to work and having friends and doing all the shit? Like, nah, you still have a purpose here. There's still a reason for you to be here. You're a human. You're a spiritual being having a human experience. So just have your human experience, but don't go overboard at the same time. Respect everything. Realize that everything is limited, to a certain extent to your perspective. Especially in your human perspective, things are limited. So, I can't just jump out this tree and just try to fly because gravity. You know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna. There's just too much of a strong idea of gravity that I believe in at this point that it's just not gonna work. Not to say that maybe one day I could probably levitate, but to me, you know what I'm saying? If I say that out loud, I'm gonna sound insane. And just like DMT and just like the psychedelic realm, sometimes the stuff that you say, it might sound crazy to other people, but that doesn't make it less true or the experience less impactful to you. All I would say is that experience did change my life again, and I'm really glad I went through it. To be honest, I really do think that a lot of people should go through this experience at least one time in their life, and I think it'll slow them down, or like they'll have more respect for like little things. Like I really have the respect for little things now, like just sitting in a tree, just having water, just having food, like, or even if I don't have food, it's like I'm okay. If I don't have something at that moment, I'm okay because I know that it's bigger than that, you guys. Like it's deeper than that. It goes so much more deeper, and it's like at the heart of it, I do believe it's love, because even though there is malicious entities or evil people out there, at the heart of it, it's just all one. Like I said, God is all. Be one with God, and God is love. God is within you. You're a part of it. It is part of you. It is everywhere and nowhere. It's no thing. It's not a thing, but it is a presence. It is a being. But hey, you guys, that DMT shit, that's another level. That's why I say you gotta treat it with respect. Treat money with respect. Just because, yeah, I'm abundant and I'm abundance and I have no lack. But at the same time, don't just be, if I have weed, I'm not just gonna smoke all my weed in one day. I'm gonna treat it with respect. I know that it's a tool. I'm not gonna just drink all the water I could ever drink in my one life. You know what I'm saying? If I drink all the water that I could drink for however long I've been living or however long I'm gonna live, I would die. I can't contain it. So just every day, just allow realities just to come to you and allow it to show itself to you in little ways. Pay attention, meditate, go into the quiet places, and it will talk to you. You don't have to take DMT, you don't have to take psychedelics. However, I do feel like those things can help you to get to a certain place faster. Um, but sometimes I feel like people maybe not need that. Maybe people need to go the slow route, and they need to take things, day by day, and just cherish the people that are in your life. Love your family. You know, enjoy the experiences that you have, because in your human perspective, things are limited. So certain things are not going to be here forever, but spiritually they are. Spiritually, they're here forever. They don't go nowhere. They're always there. Like your family's there. Your loved ones who are not here are there. They're always there with you. But yeah, you guys, that was my DMT breakthrough experience. If you have any more questions, please comment. Please like this video, y'all. Like, I know I haven't made any type of content in a long time, but I'm really wanting to, interact with you guys and build a community and build up, this spiritual community. My plan is to make my other channel called Infinite Pirates and just start posting up there consistently about spiritual stuff. This is my main channel, Son Yonatan. This is just my lifestyle channel. This is just like shit like I like to do, cooking, Spider-Man videos. I just made an iPhone review video the other day. But I want to make another channel where I can just be more raw and I can just talk about spiritual matters and things that I love to talk about no matter what. I could talk about it forever. You know what I'm saying? The iPhone only comes out once a year, and it's not that important. Like, who cares? Who gives a fuck? I mean, it's cool, it's fun, I love it, but it's not the end all be all. But the spiritual stuff is it is inherent. We are all spiritual. You know what I'm saying? You can't be more spiritual. You can just only be more aware of your spirituality and your spiritual nature. And that's all I want to do is just raise the awareness of that consciousness. This is your boy Son Yonatan. I'll talk to y'all next time. Peace.